Whoa, what am I in, an action movie?
They like to focus on a big building here at Charlie. It's called a mosque. They like to get the high ground here where that dome is.
Whoa, this is like an action movie. Whoa! Welcome, my fellow members of the VR Horde. My name is Rex, this is Eyes on VR, and today I'm going to be giving you my review of Wardust. Battling through massive environments with a big array of vehicles and weapons, you'll get a real and often hectic time on the battlefield here, where you go online in teams of 32 versus 32 in all-out warfare. But have Raptor Lab got something special here, or will it fall flat on its face without the support that it needs? Let's find out! And of course, if you like the video and want to see more PCVR and Oculus Quest content, don't forget, leave a like. It helps YouTube know that you're enjoying the video and get it out there for more people to see. And don't forget to subscribe down below for more PCVR and Oculus Quest reviews. Made and published by Raptor Labs, this is only available on PC right now. You can get it on Steam for £19 unless you catch it on sale, and a Steam summer sale is coming up as of time of recording the video. So let's start with what we all see first, the graphic. Now, from a studio like Raptor Lab, I was expecting a lot from them, as they already have 7 other VR games at this point. I can say the graphics aren't anything to write home about, but they keep a realistic look, keeping things light on your GPU, as the recommended graphics just ask you to have a GTX 1060 and minimum graphic requirement of just a GTX 970. The map textures here are a little on the rough side, a bit blurry and quite comparable to Quest textures, but considering the size of the maps, this can be overlooked quite easily. And as a side note, the devs have started to update the maps in that respect, like the map Middle East, which is looking really good right now compared to its counterpart before being updated. The character models are pretty good here. They're clear to look at up close and from far away, even if the character animations can leave little to be desired at times. Weapon textures are not bad at all, actually. They're nothing that you wouldn't see in Pavlov or Onward. They're clearly using normal and roughness maps on the weapons, but if you get really close to the attachments and weapons themselves, they're all pretty crisp to look at. You can even read the safety instructions on this holo sight. Now, when enemies are very far away, they will just appear as black ovals and have no detail to them whatsoever. Clearly, this is just a technique to make sure everything runs smoothly, so the game doesn't have to render anything at all, really, when it's very far away, which is standard practice, but you will see this in Wardust when you are sniping for sure. Things in the world, guns, buildings, vehicles, are assets reused from the game's standout. This is Raptor Lab Battle Royale game, and this is not a knock on them. It's more cost efficient and an easier way to make a new game this way, but it does explain why a lot of these things could do with a bit of a visual upgrade, as Standout came out before Wardust. Vehicle graphics, I would say, are most related to what you would see on a Quest. The ATV wheels aren't even quite circles completely. Now, everything looks crisp from really far away, and that's how you're mostly going to be seeing things like choppers and airplanes and boats, but the closer you get, the blurrier things start to get. The cockpits and interiors aren't much better, but they do just fine. People like their crispy 4K graphics, but just remember, VR is still young and this game's scale is phenomenal. Overall, the visuals are good for a game of this size, and the thing runs really smoothly. I've not had a frame rate drop yet. And this brings us on to the sound.
Point master. Point master.
The sound design here is pretty solid, even if not realistic at some points. You can always tell what vehicle is approaching you and from what direction, even if you can't see them. This gives you a chance to act accordingly and determine what kind of action you're gonna take. Now, the weapon sounds aren't exactly the most accurate, but there is a kind of charm to them as they have a hard-hitting sound and they sound quite aggressive to shoot. I mean, this AK is wrong, but it sounds badass. The tanks as well sound just as good to fire. Nice, heavy, aggressive, powerful shot when you fire those cannons. When you're inside of vehicles as well, the sound design really shines as you can hear the engine roar, the helicopter blades going, and the blast of your jet engine when you're taking off. Not only that, you have the ambience tracks for each level as well, giving you a sort of good ambience and mood for whatever level you're in. When it comes to turrets, it's clearly just a sound effect looped over 100 times or however long you pull down the trigger. But they also have the best spawn-in tune I've ever heard, and it never fails to hype me up. Overall, while not always real-life accurate, the sounds here do the job and give you that feeling of a hectic and populated battlefield. And speaking of a hectic battlefield, this brings us to the part I love the most, and that is the guns, and of course, the Realism Review! This is where I do a quick fire round of questions and see how realistic the guns are in any game, so let's jump into it. Are there bullets in the magazines? Can you see a bullet in the chamber? Does the fire mode switch move? If your mag is empty and there's one in the chamber, can you only fire once? Are mags empty when you're out of ammo? Do weapons collide with objects or do they just clip through everything? And clearly these guys went to the Onward school of reloading, as you do not get lock-in animations a la Contractors, Zero Caliber, Pavlov, etc. Now, these definitely aren't the worst results of a Realism review, but it's not the best either. I'll level with you though, the sounds are sometimes wrong and they aren't super realistic, but man, I like these guns. Why? I don't really know. They just feel good to handle, especially with the Pro Tube. They are just good fun to fire. If you're looking for realistic recoil and behavior, you're not really going to find that here at the moment. For example, the M4 magazine cannot just be dropped out of the magwell. It has to be pulled out every time like an AK magazine. But I still maintain the point, these aren't guns to be snubbed by any means. The selection of weapons is pretty average: M4, AK, Glock, MP5, bolt action sniper, RPG, P90, and a couple more. There's nothing special here, but they all work and they do their job fine. And do you know what does its job more than fine? That's the vehicles, and this is the good stuff. The vehicles are really good. The only drawback is there isn't more of them. You've got choppers, both attack gunships and good old-fashioned everyone jump in the back, get on a turret kind of choppers. And when you're on a turret in a chopper overlooking a full shanty town while your buddy pilots it around, keeping you steady, lining up the shots, you'll be having a ball and forget all your troubles. You also, of course, have tanks, you've got planes, you've got boats, you've got jeeps, you've got ATVs on top of that. And a really unique feature here is that with a lot of these vehicles is that you can go into third-person perspective, which makes movement and spatial awareness really, really easy. But you do have to hold down a joystick if you're using an Oculus Quest controller to get this third-person view. And it can be a bit finicky when you're trying to control a chopper or a plane, and you have to hold down a thumbstick at the same time to get that third-person view. But breaking out from the foot soldier standard in VR and taking off is absolutely liberating. You'll never forget the first dogfight you have, because other players are out to win as well. They can get crazy and go on for ages, but they're always thrilling. I'm trying to go through this review without making constant Battlefield references here, but if you saw the latest Battlefield trailer for Battlefield 2042, Yeah, you can do this in Wardust if you've got the skills. The controls of the vehicles don't feel too natural at first, but they become second nature in no time. I found even my second flight in a helicopter felt completely natural and really easy to do, so you'll pick things up pretty easily. Just watch out for that ATV as it's monstrously fast, but believe me, you're gonna need fast to cross these massive maps. That brings us nicely into the game's maps. There's quite a few here on the main map rotation created by the studio, but there's an endless amount when you count mods into the mix. But as it goes for main maps, there's a good variety here. There's a Dubai type city map with lots of different levels on it. There's a Middle East desert map with plenty of close quarters, if you can believe that, as well as being really huge. From rural to urban, these maps are always playing with different elevations, different terrains, atmosphere, and surprises. The game's big feature is quite clearly the maps, and the devs haven't skimped out on it when it comes to design. And while I said in the graphics portion of the review the textures for maps are a bit blurry and kind of quest level, the devs are upgrading the maps. They've done 2 so far, and you can see the difference quite clearly. So hopefully with time other maps will follow as well. Modders are already hard at work making World War II maps. They're recreating maps from other games. I've seen a remake of the Battlefield 1942 map Wake Island, and that makes me very happy. There's modded maps for days here. You don't just get the base game when you buy it, you can mod the hell out of it as well. And that is one thing the devs are supporting, is letting people mod this game till their heart's content. A special quick shout out goes to the bots of this game. They move kind of weird sometimes, but they are good opponents and good teammates. They won't hesitate to chase you down in a chopper or a plane or back you up in one. They use all the vehicles, all the weapons, all the time, consistently and not crazily. They don't just fly into buildings and walls for no reason. They will challenge you at times, and there's definitely worse bots in better games, if that makes sense. This means we need to talk gameplay next. The aim of the game is basically how Battlefield's standard conquest mode works. You all start with a certain amount of tickets. There's multiple points to capture. The more you capture and the longer you have them for, the more tickets the enemy team starts to lose. Every time you kill an enemy, they lose a ticket as well. First team to go to 0 loses. And the way you're going to be doing that is there's 4 classes to choose from. There's the assault class, which is your basic infantryman, assault rifle, pistol, grenade, and that's that. There's a sniper class with your classic bolt action rifle and smoke grenades. A support class, which is definitely that, as you can heal people but also drop sandbags wherever you want, which is perfect when you need a quick defensive position and you need to hunker down fast against enemies. And you've got your engineering class, and this is the big boy with the big rocket launchers, and he is your best hope of getting rid of vehicles when you have a problem. There is a leveling up system here a la Call of Duty. See, I didn't reference Battlefield there. Oh no. The more kills and the more wins, the more XP you get, and the more weapon skins and attachments you unlock for your classes. It's as simple as that. Or it would be if it wasn't bugged like hell. To do this legitimately, to level up your characters, would take you about 20 years to unlock everything. So there's a modded map for this. Use it or be stuck with your starter weapons forever. Every class gets an infinite amount of everything. Grenades, bullets, health kits, sandbags, rockets, and so on. Normally, I do not like this. I am infamous for telling anyone who will listen how infinite ammo in Pavlov Zombies absolutely ruins the experience. But it doesn't ruin the tension or how careful you are in Wardust. It can lead to some long firefights between you and another person, but you don't feel overpowered because at any second a tank, attack helicopter, or a plane can just start raining hell down on you, and you can have all the bullets you like. You're not going to be able to deal with that, so you're going to have to run. The gameplay cycle has a really addictive quality to it. The controls are weird for movement, and I'll get into that a bit in the next section. The graphics aren't amazing, and the weapons aren't the most realistic, but this is so fun. It's hard to explain what it is about this game, but if you ask anyone that plays it, they'll just tell you there's something about this game, that it's just got that it factor. Whether your squad is calling out for your help on the ground and you've got just a plane with just the right amount of rockets to help them out, or you come steaming into an enemy objective with a tank, or your whole team is making their last stand at the last checkpoint you've got left against overwhelming odds, it just doesn't get boring. If you like Battlefield, believe me, you found the game for you in VR. The squad system here deserves a mention as well. You can squad up in the main menu with your friends before you even jump into a game, and you'll all appear in each other's main menus, which is quite fun. All the squad leader needs to do is just join a game, and there you go, you're all squadded up together wherever you go in Wardust. And that is something I think other games need to take note of as well. Otherwise, you'll just be assigned to a squad with other humans in any given match. Also, one of the main gameplay mechanics apart from vehicles for getting around is the parachute. Get airborne, reach over your back, hold down both your triggers and pull forward. You travel huge distances across the map this way. Just remember, everyone can see you parachuting. Getting airborne is no problem either, as you can climb basically anything a la Zero Caliber. There's none of this onward ladder BS here at all. Climb up, jump off, and off you go. And it's an absolute thrill to grab a jet, fly over an enemy's checkpoint, jump out, pull your chute at the last second, land in the objective, and fight your way behind enemy lines. You don't even need to be that high up to be airborne. There is a way to maybe launch yourself off the ground, but I'm going to let you figure that one out. And speaking of figuring things out, I'm going to make this easier for you by talking about the options and settings. You've got everything you need except for one glaring oversight. You've got graphics qualities, left or right-handed mode, snap or smooth turning, game chat, hold or toggle grip, weapon offset if you have a gun stock, choose if you always want to sprint or not. Spoiler alert, yes you do want to sprint everywhere at all times. Now let's talk the massive oversight, the locomotion. Now this is my personal preference, but it has to be said. There are 4 types of locomotion in this game. 4. One for seated, which is nice because it includes crouching, going prone, and standing up just with the joystick. There's one where you actually run on the spot to run in game. There's one where you grab the air to move yourself forward. And a classic style, which is just use your thumbsticks and go where your wrist points. So hand locomotion or wrist locomotion. And that's it. What's missing? Anyone tell me? All those fancy movement systems, but no head locomotion. If you want to move where you're facing or where your head is looking to play this game, like almost every other VR game that exists, the option just isn't here. Discord requests for features state the same. I have spoken to someone at Raptor Lab and they have told me that this is on the to-do list, so make of that what you will, but I do think this is a glaring oversight in locomotion and is basically a standard in any VR game that you get. And this brings me on to some background of the game as a prerequisite if you're thinking of buying it. There was a time when the devs didn't respond to the community for about a year. Steam, Discord, you name it, they said not a word. Despite issues, complaints, features needing fixing or implementing, there was nothing. Having said that though, they have recently started talking again and putting out updates and improving some things, and this happened because of its community, and they deserve a massive shout out and all the credit for revitalizing this game.
We got this, guys. We got this. Hold on for dear life.
You almost killed me, but yeah, we got it.
App's coming to the hangar.
Death from above.
Inside the building. Middle building is chat. Middle building is chat or Charlie.
Their commitment and love for the game brought it back to life both in the VR scene and to the devs. They did this through organized play events and modding. When you take mods into account with this game, it is just endless enjoyment, and that's down to the people who love and play this game as well. A link to their Discord will be in the description of this video. They're all absolute legends, really welcoming, really supportive of new players. In my first match, the legend that is Tiger Tim took me under his parachute and showed me the ropes and made sure I was looked after, and I've seen this happen with countless people that join who are new to this game since I started playing. My first parachuting experience got me killed, by the way, but I had a blast. The more people that get involved, the more improvements we will see and faster for this game. I am absolutely convinced of that. And I'm not here to say bad stuff against the devs, even though it kind of sounds like I am. I'm just giving you the facts as they've been told to me by people within the player base and the evidence from the reviews and the feedback left for the devs. The community is small right now, which is really shocking to hear because it deserves so much more love and attention. Battlefield, I mean Wardust, is a game with something special about it. It doesn't always look good or sound right, but it will hook you right from the word go. With its large scale maps, huge variety of playstyles, foot soldier or pilot, it's always a fun match. With a small but dedicated community, the game gets even better and continues to improve with mods popping up all the time. The community keeps this game alive, and if the devs stand up, take notice and provide just a little bit of quality of life touches and TLC, Wardust could rule a space all of its own in VR and could explode into the multiplayer scene, and honestly I think it could be one of the most popular VR multiplayers that exist. Even though this game needs that extra love and care, and if you want to get in early, understanding that who knows how long it will take for the devs to change more things, if you have the faith and you want to play this amazing, absolutely addictive, large-scale warfare VR beast, then I will see you in there.
They like to focus on a big building here at Charlie. It's called a mosque. They like to get the high ground here where that dome is.
If you made it this far, thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you think of Wardust down in the comments section. And if you enjoy the video, please leave a like. It really helps YouTube understand that people are enjoying the video and helps get it out there for others to see. And I really want to spread the word about Wardust to everyone I can. And consider subscribing down below as well for more PCVR and Oculus Quest reviews. My name is Rex, this is Eyes on VR. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.
Game now.
What's going on, boys? The one on the left. Normal gameplay today.
Yeah, normal gameplay.
Normal gameplay.